Hey everybody, welcome back to Lego Space. Today I'm going to do an update on what I've been modifying on the car so far. Kind of show you guys where we're at. I was out for a little bit, kind of sick, so I didn't do too much, but I did get a little bit further on the car before all that happened. So, my wife, she's building a little Easter basket over there, so if you hear some background noise, that's what's going on. Here you guys can kind of see the interior. The time circuits, you guys can tell, are different from the instructions. I added a little gold detail piece inside to kind of simulate the circuits that are in that. The whole console area is changed around quite a bit from what they show in the instructions. I'll probably flip back to those just to kind of show you. But so far, it's been going okay. Trying to figure out some stuff on the back now, because I did include the lighted brick for the flux capacitor detail there. So far, everything I had to move the flux capacitor back one stud, and then of course you guys can see my back wall details are in place with the little electrical box details, some of the piping, fire extinguisher, lights, some more electrical boxes and stuff like that. Some of these, not 100% sure what this detail is in the car, but just working off of pictures, it had kind of like a copper or gold colored box there. So we kind of did that, shortened the stick shift to a more prototypical height. Just had enough room for all that stuff in there, because I did not modify where the dashboard is. Did add a couple different pieces there. You guys can kind of see the white and black pieces to kind of simulate the different speedometer that they had in there. Kept all the instrumentation on the front the same because they did a good job at that. Basically just kind of added some more detail in the console. Had to scooch some stuff back, move some stuff around to allow for the details in there. And I'm pretty happy with how the stuff came out. Looks really good. I did have the seats in there, and I did have the doors kind of built up a little bit more, but I wanted to kind of take that stuff apart so that way I could show you kind of more what I did. Just from working with pictures of the real car and kind of the interior on how some of the stuff looked. I did kind of add these great pieces in here just for something. And then we did tile the floor, use tiles on the floor, and another thing, I added foot pedals on the driver's side. So we have kind of a gas, clutch, brake setup on there since it's a manual. And then on the passenger side, you guys can kind of see some simple tiling, a little bit of a front wall there, just to kind of cover up some of the structural pieces in there. That you can kind of see, just to make it look a little bit cleaner. Some tile back here. The seat still plugs in really nice, sits in there good. So now, kind of what I'm dealing with is figuring a way to actuate the button for the light brick. Since I'm completely redesigning this area, I'm kind of working on a way to figure out how to make that easy to push. I can make it not easy to push really easily, but figuring out how to make it easily done is kind of hard, working with some of the details that I'm doing here. You guys can see kind of a color change difference from the actual instructions, and really big difference on just where everything is at. On the instructions here, you guys can kind of see that light brick only sticks out one stud, but now with everything kind of back one stud, this is sticking out two studs now. So we're kind of dealing with that. I will not be doing the button method that they have on there. I do have to think of something else, just because some of these parts are relocated a little bit further back from how they are originally. So just a lot of complicated stuff I'm trying to work through right now, trying to figure out what's going to work good and look good, what I can detail up nicely. So it has been kind of a struggle so far, but we're getting there. The interior was a big part, just getting this whole console back wall done, trying to figure out how to build that up and make it structurally sound, since I kind of had to diverge from the instructions quite a bit on the kind of this whole inner area in here, like underneath these. It's a lot different now than it was via the instructions. So just a lot of stuff trying to get it figured out. But we're getting there. So I figured I'd give you guys an update before I get too far. It is easy just to kind of sit there and build and build and build, and then I forget to do a video. So I just kind of wanted to give a nice detailed look on the time circuits. I love how the time circuits look now. They had it set up pretty cool, but like I said, I added that gold piece in there just for some added detail. It looks 100 times better actually having something representing the time circuits themselves in that box. The big red button, of course, we kept that. And then, like I said, just some of the other electrical box detail going on in the console and the back walls. And then also trying to level up everything correctly with the flux capacitor, so we're not blocking the flux capacitor, but still working with the original height. All that's been kind of challenging, especially with the roof, because the roof is heavily built off of the top of the flux capacitor box. So that's been kind of a challenge to rebuild some of that structure and make sure it's structurally sound and going to hold the doors properly and everything's not going to be too flimsy. That's a big thing that I'm trying to avoid, is doing all this work and then having it be very fragile. I'd like it to be tough enough to withstand opening, closing, lifting. But yeah, so far so good. Just right now I'm kind of really working on this back, trying to figure out some stuff. So once I get a little bit further on that and get some more detail put on there, I'll do another update video on that. And then on a side note, like I said in the previous videos, this is going to be the Back to the Future 2 version that I'm building right now. And you guys saw, I think it was in my last video, I had received another one, and now we have 2 of them. So now we have 3 total. So this one will be for Back to the Future 2, and then one of these will be for Back to the Future 1, and one of them will be Back to the Future 3. So now I have all 3 DeLoreans ready to go. Another thing I'm really having to make sure is I keep track of what I'm doing on this one so I can do the same thing on the other ones. I've been taking a lot of detailed pictures as I do a lot of this more intricate stuff. Building parts that are going to go on the next ones, like I have all the back walls ready to go. Two more passenger side, 2 more driver side. Kind of how I redid the base of the flux capacitor, some of these gold parts I'm using. Some of these little boxes that I built. So I'm just trying to keep up with some of that stuff so that way the other 2 aren't too much of a challenge for me, and I kind of remember all exactly what I did to this one for changes. So that's probably going to be it for this video, guys. Just wanted to kind of give you an update before I get too far here, so that way you guys can kind of see some of the progress. And real quick here, I'll move some of these parts out of the way and just kind of give you guys a look at what the interior looks like via the instructions versus what I did. Try to find somewhat of a good angle here. I don't know if I'm going to find it. There we go. So this is kind of how they originally had it. A lot of exposed studs. The gear shift, in my opinion, is way too tall. Time circuit box is cool, but really not that much detail to it. And then literally the time circuits are right up against the flux capacitor, which is not how it is on the real car. So from what Lego has you do, which isn't bad, it's a cool representation. But then to what I did with spacing things out more, adding more detail, and just really giving the interior a lot more. I mean, you guys can see how the back walls are. There's nothing. You guys can see a lot of the structural supports. Those arch pieces are easily seen. The axles that help run some of the axle mechanism, all that can be seen behind the seats, but now with these nice back walls, you don't see any of that. They do have to be this shape to fit the door hinges, because the door hinges are kind of built with like special arch pieces. So I in a perfect world, I'd like to build those up a little bit more, but I can't just for how the doors has to close. This is literally as big as I can build them in the space. But everything fits really nice so far. Really happy. And like I said, I love how this console looks compared to what they're offering just straight out of the kit. So hope you guys enjoyed the update. And like I said, I will probably do another video once I kind of get the back end a little bit more done, get some more stuff figured out on that. And until next time, take care.